4 steps for you to become a freight broker agent. We get asked all the time, how do I become an agent? And people want to do it because they think it's super lucrative and it's this great, easy job. And it can be lucrative and it can be a great job, but it doesn't happen overnight. So we're going to outline 4 steps for you to become a freight broker agent in this video. Step number 1, get a job in the industry at a freight brokerage. And that may sound easy or hard depending on who you are. The key though is you go to a place that will allow you to take your book and become a freight broker agent. Do not sign a non-compete, don't sign a non-solicit, all these things. And best case scenario is you go to one company, say B2B Transportation, you start out as a freight broker, as an employee, and we will allow you to transition to a freight broker agent. That's how many of our successful agents have started. Eliminates risk for them. It allows us to train them from the ground up on things that are important that they wouldn't know otherwise. So step number 1, go to a place that will allow you to become an employee and turn into an agent. And this is critical because how else are you going to get experience without a lot of risk? Step number 2 is learn a niche. And what's a niche, right? Well, it's either flatbed, refrigerated, reefer, box van, dry van, could be anything. But find a niche and really double down on that niche and really get good at that niche. Because if you're not in one area and you're doing more of a spray and pray, or you're trying to do a little bit of everything, you're never going to gain leverage from your customer base and get those referrals, and from the same thing from your carriers. You're not going to be able to utilize those carriers on different types of customers if you're always chasing whatever's hot. So niche down. And you may not know what your niche is going to be when you start, but you get your first couple customers and then you just learn the business more and more. And then you follow that breadcrumb trail and really niche down in that. And on that number 2, it's so critical that you build a book of business that stands the test of time. And what do I mean by that? Is it can't be great when the market's hot and then goes away. And so you need to have some diversity in that customer base and in that niche. Let's say you're in a niche and it's flatbed, just general commodities. Well, you're going to have your summertime shippers, you're going to have your fall, you're going to have your winter. And so you really need to understand what commodities are going to ship what time of year, and then maximize your sales strategy to go after those different types of customers as you build out your niche. The third thing on this is after you have your book of business, it's established, let's say you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the business, whatever it is that transition to your home office. You have to have a home office set up. You can't just go home and work from the kitchen table because your family's there, your dog's there, whatever it is. You need to make sure that you have a set workspace that will allow you to concentrate, be on the phone, have good computer system, good monitors, usually a couple monitors, so that you're able to have multiple things up on the screen at once, and really make sure that it's a work environment that you can maximize your results. So number 3 was home office. The fourth thing, and I think one of the most critical things that I see a lot of people miss with this, is they have these big dreams and goals and aspirations, but they don't really set a goal around it. They're like, hey, I want to be independently wealthy. Well, that's great, but what does that mean to you? Is it $10,000 a month? Is it $20,000 a month? Is it $100,000 a month? And so be very specific about what that is and what it is for you individually, because it's different for everybody. For me, it would be, hey, I want to have enough money to live off of and pay for my kids' colleges. For you, that's going to look differently depending on where you're at in your life. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe they're grown and raised and out of your hair. So be very specific. If it's 20,000, write it down, get a plan, and then track your progress, because how are you going to know if you're successful if you have no ability to track it? And, a goal written down is a goal that is usually met because you're holding yourself accountable to that process. So hold yourself accountable to it and set goals and get to work. Recap 4 steps to become a freight agent. Number 1, get a job at a freight brokerage that will allow you to transition to an agent. Number 2 is niche down. Really understand what business you want to go after. What does that look like for you? And dive in and learn everything you can about it, and the referrals will add up. The third is that home office. Make sure that you have that space set up and it's conducive to working on your own, and it's going to be motivated, it's going to be comfortable. That's a critical piece, because if it's uncomfortable, you're not going to want to work there. And then 4th is set goals and make them very specific. A lot of times you hear what a SMART goal is: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and then time-based. So SMART goals are a great way for you to set those goals and achieve your goals. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow us for more tips on how to be a freight broker.